So my project today is to take this and turn it into a compost bin. So we'll see what I can do with this materials and with what's laying around the house. I'm working on building the compost pile, and I lifted this pallet up and there's bugs all over it. The chickens think I made a smorgasbord just for them, which is cool because they're eating some of the bugs I don't want touching me. So I'm good with everything but arachnids. So I've got the sides attached to the back. I use some 2x4s. I'm making sure that everything I use is pine and not painted or treated, which means it will eventually rot, but I'm not putting poisons into what we do. I used a level to square it up. Now I know this is a compost bin, not a big deal, but with it somewhat squared, not level, I can go back, and I've got these posts that we pulled out of an old fence, and I'm going to use them to square it up even more. That way when we put a door on the front, it will actually open and close and not have issues. So right now I'm looking for hardware cloth. That piece is way too small. So I'm going to put hardware cloth across the bottom. That's going to keep rodents out. Then I have to line the inside with hardware cloth. That'll give it some airflow so it can decompose. But you know, the worms will get in, the bugs will get in and do what they got to do. But it should keep the rodents and the raccoons and all the predators away, which is why it's a little bit ways from the house. Not far enough away where people won't take the compost out, but far enough away, hopefully it will minimize problems. So I am on the hunt for some hardware cloth that we have not used on other projects. That will probably be like the roof for one side. I'm thinking about splitting this into two, having two bins. So the hunt continues. Good morning, guys. So giving you an update on the compost bin. I've got the wire on the sides, I've got the wire on the bottom, on the back, and there's the other side. So if you watched our chicken video, you saw that we redid the gate, but we saved pieces of the old gate. So one of those recycled pieces is a couple of boards that are full length. So the wire did not quite match, but I am not cutting another strip of 2-foot wide wire just for an inch. So I had a couple options. I could use zip ties like I did right here to hold the wire in place, or I could use the wire, the metal string that wraps the hardware cloth up, which that would have worked if I would have done a crisscross sewing stitch. But instead I figured, let's make it a little bit easier. I'm going to cut this board to length, I'm going to screw it in, and that will hold the wire in place. And then I need another one of these boards right about here to support the middle pallet. And we're going to put some wire on it, and once I get all that done, then I'm going to put on the bottom wire. The reason I didn't put on the wire on the bottom of the compost bin is because then I couldn't reach in and do all the stuff I needed to do. It's a lot easier if you can approach it from more than one side. So that's where we're at, guys, and it's getting toasty already. So I'm doing this just an hour or two in the morning before it gets too toasty. So, but hopefully we'll have this done in the next day or two. All right, see you then. Welcome back to OK Homestead, and on this little quick episode, I'm going to show you where I'm at with the compost bin. So we had a couple cool days, so I'm out here this afternoon working on this thing. I finished putting in the middle panel. I did use some wire mesh like you would use for windows or screen doors. I had some lying around, and so then I bought a short roll to finish it, which actually adds stability to this pallet. This is the oldest pallet we had, and it was kind of falling apart. So I used some screws to get it back together. And then I nailed it or screwed a 2x4 onto the bottom of it so that it matched the ends. And so that would attach it to the pallet that's laying on its back. But I underestimated the weight of this thing and way overestimated how much I could lift, apparently. I tried to lift this and turn it right side up, and I cannot do it by myself. So I'm gonna have to wait till someone else gets home today, maybe a couple of someone's, and see if they can help me turn it right side up. The next step is I've got some 1x, 1x3s, and I got some old 2x4s, and I'm gonna make a railing, basically put a 1x here and a 1x here, or a 2x4 and a 1x, and then have a slit that my door, whether it's this or I've got some other wood that I'm gonna try different types of doors, kind of just slide the door down. That way when we're ready, we can just pull the door out and start digging the dirt out. So again, step 1 is to get some friends and get this turned right side up. Step 2 is put the railings in to fit the door. And step 3 is to go ahead and get a good mow and get some compost going. I will have to do a little research tonight because I can't remember how much brown to green material. So brown material would be these old leaves that you see laying around. Green material is what you're standing on. It's kind of obvious. If you have like brown paper bags, and sometimes packaging now is not processed with chemicals, it doesn't have bleach in it, doesn't have any of that, you could use that for your brown. Brown leaves, trying to think, basically dried out material. And then green is your waste out of your kitchen, you know, the avocado peels and the, you know, cut grass. Those are kind of your main things. So I need to find out that exact ratio, but we're gonna have to see where we are with this. Like I said, I have to wait for someone to help me flip it over, and then I'll probably finish it up tomorrow. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next episode. Have a great day. My husband was wonderful. He came out here and helped me out. And what he actually did was he took this 2x4, he nailed it down here on to all 3 sides, so he made it more stable, just so he could turn it, and then he just flipped it right over, and it was a breeze. So we do have our compost bin up and ready to go. Since I have mowed, there are piles out there, you can kind of see them, of grass. I'm gonna take a rake to it tonight or tomorrow and start throwing it in there. As the compost builds, I'm gonna take these 2x4s and 1x's and make slots to slide the fence panels. We have fence panels from the gate we repurposed, as well as that other pallet there, and basically just slide it in to hold the compost in. But since we don't really need anything yet, since our bin is completely empty, this is going to be it for now. I'm going to start throwing some stuff in here. I will come back probably in a week or 2 and show you what the slots look like and what the doors look like. I am going to put a top on this so that we don't get excess water in it. The problem with compost is you got to make sure you have enough greens and browns, and then that it doesn't get too wet or too dry. So I'm going to be working on that. But right now, this is where I'm at. Like I said, all of the grass, I'm going to take a rake to it and see how much I can get in there. I really need to get a bagger for my lawnmower, so that'll capture that for me. And so this is where we're at right now. So I will probably go ahead and put this video together from start to finish and post it this weekend, so you can see where the compost bin is, and I'll just give you an update once we've got the doors and we've started making compost. All right, guys, have a great week, and thank you for watching, and I hope all goes well, and good luck if you decide to do a compost bin.